Gym teacher mistakes my mom, a staff member, as a student. So this happened a few years ago when I was still in high school. I'm not sure if this exactly fits here, but we'll just go with it. My family lives in a city in Wisconsin. A pretty nice city with fairly good schools. Never really have too big of problems. My mom had started working in the school district while I was in middle school. She works with kids with disabilities as she has experience, being that my brother has severe autism. She first worked at the elementary school before working at one of the middle schools, before finally moving to the high school, despite her not wanting to. My mom doesn't look her age. She's turning 39 in a few weeks. Around the time of this story, she was probably around 36. Her height reaches into the early 5-foot range, with two of her kids towering over her, and her daughter just about to be taller as well. At the time, her hair was cut rather short, like just past the ears I'd say. She wears contacts due to her vision. She dresses with a lot of geeky material, with shirts ranging from Star Wars all the way to Labyrinth. Typically, she looks quite like a high school student, even today. On to the story. This happened during her first year working at the high school, and since I wasn't there myself, I'm only roughly explaining what happened. On this particular day, one of her contacts had broken, and seeing how bad her vision would be without them, she had to wear her glasses to work. Despite the fact that she hates doing this. As well as this, she wore a black Labyrinth t-shirt. It was basically the poster of the movie plastered onto a shirt, which was partially covered up by a black, open-up cotton shirt with long sleeves. She had dark, tight jeans on, with just some normal shoes. The only way to tell that she worked there was the lanyard with her ID on it, hanging from her neck. It was just after lunch, if I recall, and my mom was tasked to walk with one of the students she looked after. I don't recall what this kid had, but he loved to talk about movies with my mom constantly. He would have headphones on while walking and would be looking at his Chromebook the whole time. My mom and the boy were walking down the hall near the high school's upper gym. She did this from time to time while kids were in class, so he could get around and move, as he did not like doing much work. While walking, they were far down the hall, about to turn a corner, when out of nowhere, someone had yelled from down the hall at them. GT for gym teacher, M for mom, we'll call the boy Frank. GT, hey, get back to class. M, thinking this teacher was yelling at some other students wandering the halls, continues walking slowly with the kid. GT, obviously sounding annoyed, don't make me have to write you up for wandering the halls. M now turns around to look towards the talking. She sees GT standing at the doors of the upper gym, staring dead at her. GT was known for being quite annoying, to say the least. I had her once in my last year. Thankfully, I got on her good side for the most part. She's in her late 40s to early 50s, usually wears thin sweatshirts with tight pants and athletic shoes. Her hair is cut into a Beatles style, dark like the Beatles' hair as well. She stood quite a few inches taller than M, but not by too much. M looks around, confused at first. GT, don't just stand there dumbfounded like that. Get to class. She perfectly exaggerated the last few words. M has been mistaken for a student on multiple occasions, but only when she's usually wandering the halls alone, not when she's with a kid. M, oh, sorry, I'm walking with Frank here. He likes it when the halls are quiet. GT, he can walk with a teacher. You don't need to babysit him when you have class to go to. M, still a bit confused, but realizing the situation. Sorry, but you're mistaken. I'm a staff member here. She goes to show her the ID. GT, nice try. Come to my office so I can write you up. At this point, the teacher turns to start walking into the gym. M doesn't listen and continues walking. This was apparently not the right move to make. GT, Don't you dare walk away from me! You come here now so I can write you up. At this point, GT started storming it over to M, to which M quickly turns around and flashes her ID to GT. M: Ma'am, I work here. GT stopped inches from the ID and stares at it for a moment, before going pure white. She backs up and clears her throat. GT: You should be careful about how you dress. People are going to think you're a student. M: Right. I have to get back to work now. Maybe you should too. At this point, GT walks back to the gym doors, closing them fairly loudly behind her. Frank had continued walking ahead of M, so she quickly caught up to him and kept on with her day. My mom and I had quite a good laugh on the drive home from school. Side note, my mom still works at the high school today and has gotten to know quite a lot of teachers there. She only had a few encounters with GT since, and it seems GT doesn't even remember seeing her that day, or just refuses to acknowledge she mistook a staff member for a student. Either way, win for my mom. I honestly don't know what would be worse for the gym teacher, to actually forget, meaning she has so many of these encounters that she just loses track of them all, or to pretend to forget because you couldn't shut your damn mouth for 2 seconds so she could explain that she does work there. I'm not a student. Does not being a student count as not working here? It's an oldie, roughly 2002, but still. For context, I'm 5 foot nothing and around 110 pounds soaking wet. Yeah, I'm small. My little brother, however, is not. He's around 6'2", tall and thin. When we started high school, both of our parents were working, so I joined him at what's called Freshman Roundup. Usually a few days before the school year begins, the classes come to the school for registration paperwork, student IDs, photos, yearbook, etc. The freshmen who come alone tend to get egged on, hazed in some way, so most either come with parents or older siblings. As we were in line outside, waiting to enter the cafeteria, a blonde teacher walks by. She glances at me, does a double take, then spins to face me. T equals teacher, me equals duh. T: What are you wearing? Me: Huh? T: That shirt is not appropriate. M: Excuse me? My shirt had some minor swear on it, like hell or crap. You cannot wear that here. Go home and change now. M: Are you crazy? I'm not a student. I'm 22. I'm here with my kid brother. He's the student. I gesture to my brother, looking very respectable, in khakis and a polo. She looks at him and realizes that he and about a dozen students around us are fighting back hysterical laughter. My brother can't contain it and lets out a loud laugh. A few others follow. I'm angrily glaring at her while she's looking around. She just looks at me with this stupid expression and walks away. My brother and his classmates laughed about it, then teased me about being so small I passed for a freshman. I'm curious, was that a genuine fear for any of you guys out there? Because I was honestly very scared when I was going from the 8th grade to being a freshman. I thought for sure I was gonna get hazed in some way by being egged or swirly or something of the like. I'm not your Uber driver, lady. I was living in a university area and parking was really hard to find. I found a great spot out front and had to run back up to my apartment and grab something, and got back down to my car. I was sitting in my car, getting my phone ready with music before I left. While doing that, my 2 back doors opened up and 2 kids climb in. They don't speak great English and are trying to tell me where to go. I turned around and told them that I am not an Uber driver. So they sat in the back of my car on their phones, trying to figure out what was going on with their Uber. I had to scream, "Get out of my car!" This is not the place to figure out your Uber app. But the look on their faces when everything clicked that they were lounging in the back of a stranger's car and were getting yelled at was priceless. There are so many Uber videos on YouTube of passengers just doing the most stupid crap you can imagine. Those are probably some of the most fun videos to binge watch if you ever want to treat yourself someday. Alrighty guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and if you did and you're new around here, maybe consider subscribing. And if you really liked it, then maybe give it a thumbs up and a share. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.